Hey everybody, as you see behind me, I got my hands on the Bonafide SKF117 or the Skiff 117. I want to take it out on the water. I want to go over the paddling performance, of course, customization, how customizable is it, comfort, stability, and how, what kind of value are you getting with the Skiff 117? Should you buy this kayak? All that and a few more things. Again, thanks for stopping by. We'll get right into it. Okay, so the Bonafide SKF. So I'm going to jump right into it. Easily, my biggest surprise with this kayak was the paddle performance. The paddling performance on this really kind of blew my mind. I was not expecting it, and it was one of my biggest questions with this kayak was, yeah, it looks great. It's a great idea. Maybe focused more for the offshore paddler or, maybe those saltwater flats for your redfish. But the paddle performance was just remarkable on this. You do skim across the top of the water. It does have a great wind resistance to it because, again, you don't have those really high sidewalls. Having that skeg drop down really makes a huge difference on your tracking performance. Not pushing through the water, skimming over the top of it made paddling it really effortless. The tri-hull design is not as intense as you see on like the SS series, where they really kind of give you that extra stability that you'd want out of a big fishing kayak. This one here gives you the stability, but it doesn't sacrifice the handling and the speed as much. If you're looking at motorizing something like this, that's a big deal. That is going, your water resistance, whether you're paddling it or you're motorizing it, that is still going to be there. So how hard is that motor going to have to work? You may not have to get a super high-end motor to get the speed and the coverage that you're wanting out of that. So I really loved this as a paddle kayak. This is going to be a great river and creek fishing kayak as well, because again, the ability to have that drop down skeg go up or down. Keep in mind, they do still have the RVR 119, which in my opinion is the best river and creek fishing kayak out there, but it depends on what you're wanting to do. If you want a little bit more of a simpler setup, you like that wide open space, you want to mix it in maybe recreational paddling or a fishing heavy platform, again, this is going to do that for you. If you like a little bit more options for storage, the RVR may do that for you. Probably, in my opinion, the SKF is the most versatile kayak in the current Bonafide fleet, which is really growing, especially here for 2024. Paddle performance, high or low seat, really, really great. The next thing I'm getting to is customization. And with Bonafide, that's kind of the premium for customization. So I went over with the seat comfort. I talked about being able to do the cooler on the kayak, which is really big to me because, again, that gives you that additional customization. But you've got your gear track here on the sides, and then in the middle here, again, that middle is going to go into this little cup holder where you can run your transducers down. But as far as your customization goes, you've got flat spots all over this kayak where you can add additional gear, additional mounting places here. But on the back, you've got the same access hatch that you see in Bonafides, but you've got already this put in, so you can run a rudder on this. You can run your micro power pole here, and there's going to be some other options there come out, I'm sure. Another thing too is you've got this large area here where you can put up to that 16 by 16 Blackpack Pro. So this will handle a lot of your battery options, your tackle storage options here. Don't forget about the wide open space here. So you can still store stuff on the nose, in the back. When I'm out there, I like to have my stuff in front of me instead of reaching back for it all the time. That allows you to do that with this kayak. You can do Torqeedo on the back of it. You can do probably Newport motor on the back of it as well without a tremendous amount of modifications to your kayak. That's what I look for when I'm looking for how customizable something is. You can do a lot of other things to this kayak. I do like that they did away with the padding that you see on the SS series. That gives you the ability to run track on the sides there without having to cut in or take the padding off, which is kind of a pain in the butt. It's not as customizable as, say, as an Unlimited or an SS127. That's where you're going to get with Bonafide the PWR 129 as well. So that's another one coming out this year that's probably, in my opinion, going to be the most customizable kayak on the market. For this here, if you like to keep it somewhat simple, still be able to make it your own and haul what you need to haul out there, again, this is a really good option for that. Okay, so let's talk about comfort. So how comfortable a fishing kayak is really, in my opinion, almost as important or equally as important as the stability of a fishing kayak. So your comfort level, when you're fishing, you're going to be out there for a long period of time. You're going to be in a seated position or standing position or combination of the two for, again, long periods of time. And how does this rank on comfort? Not a big surprise. Bonafide using the SS series seat, which you see here. This is the same seat you see again on the SS127, the SS107, and it's a lot of great feedback from customers over the last couple of years on how great this seat is. Having that seat on this kayak is really a huge benefit to me. This is the low position, and then this is the high position on this seat. So the high position, again, it's going to give you that really good hip to knee to ankle kind of downward slope. That's going to take a lot of that pressure off of your tailbone, off your sciatic nerve. Chad Hoover did a video here recently that really needed to be made, in my opinion. I'll link that down in the description below on comfort in a fishing kayak. With Bonafide, you get all of those options. I've seen people with some major back issues and nerve issues where you can fold down the front but keep the back end high up. You can put the back end down to really give you that reclining position. Again, really good recline and straight up position with the seat back. Got a lot more adjustability with this seat, in addition to the straps underneath and on the back to kind of tighten up that support. Obviously, you can always throw on a kayak cushion on there, but just talking about what you get out of the box, you get a really comfortable seat. You get a really comfortable flat platform to place your feet. It's not going to give you the leverage you get on, say, an adjustable foot peg setup. I would like to see some kind of maybe track-mounted peg setup, very similar to what you see on the New Canoe series. They sell a track-mounted foot peg, and you can use those on there, of course. If you're not looking at going a great distance, you don't necessarily need that, but it is nice to have. You can also, with your comfort, you can remove the seat, and you can see here you can place a cooler in here, and they've also included these little metal pad eyes for strapping down a cooler. So if you wanted something doubled as storage, whether it's bait, food, drink, and then also use that as your seat, you can do that here. And it can also give you an even higher vantage point if you're wanting. I've seen people stand on the coolers on boats like this, whether they be paddle boards or skiff boats. You've got a lot of options here, but for comfort, especially for standing up, having that soft, quiet track padding on there to kind of keep it comfortable, but also keep it quiet. The last thing you want to do is make a bunch of noise when you're out there fishing. Really, really happy, really pleased with the comfort. Wasn't a big surprise to me, so it wasn't like I wasn't shocked by it, because I already have a high expectation from Bonafide with seat comfort. So going over stability, and let's just be honest with you guys, looking at the kayak, you expect it to be stable, and it doesn't disappoint. So it's got a 425-pound weight capacity to it. And again, it's a wide kayak. So it's going to be stable, and it definitely didn't disappoint with that. The stability on it for me, I'm 6'5", I'm about 265. I'm a bigger guy. I felt comfortable standing up from this. The position, the seat in the high position really makes it easy and comfortable to get up, but also sit back down without losing that stability, without having to plop back down. You do have the gear track in the middle there. That will allow you, if you wanted to do some kind of sit-down strap or stand-up strap on that track with like maybe a little eyelet bolt or something, you can do that. But I don't think, unless you've got some kind of limitations, I don't think that's going to be a big deal to most people as far as standing up and sitting back down, because you do have that really high seat position option on there. I'm always more careful sitting back down than I am standing up. That's where you're going to lose the stability that you typically have in a kayak. I was really happy with the secondary stability, which I am with most Bonafide kayaks, but this one here, you can really see that ridge. That's your secondary stability. You can almost sit on the edge of this and have this kind of kiltered up at a 45-degree angle and not tipping this thing over. Got a really good primary stability, which again is that initial wiggle, but your secondary stability, just like you've seen on my other Bonafide videos, is absolutely phenomenal on this. Definitely top marks for stability on this. What kind of value are you getting out of this? Should you buy this kayak? And that's really going to depend on you. I'm not a big fan of trying to tell people what to do with their money, of course, but at $1,250 and what you get from this kayak, I feel it's a great value. Now, it's going to depend on what you want your kayak to do and what you plan on doing to it. So if you're wanting to throw a motor on it and a big motor, and you're wanting to do all this customization electronics, you can do it on this kayak, but you can also do it on some other kayaks, even still in the Bonafide lineup. So you're thinking about the SS series, thinking about the new PWR coming out. So it depends on what you're doing, but for $1,250 and what you get, to me, this is probably going to be a very different experience on a river and creek than the RVR, but still a good one. And I like that Bonafide is paying attention to the river and creek fishing kayaks, because that is kind of where a lot of our market here locally is. And really, I feel across the country, you're always going to have your big lake fishing setups, but you've got so many options out there. There's not a lot of really great options for a river and creek fishing kayak. When I think of river and creek fishing kayaks, I'm thinking the RVR 119, which is again Bonafide, the Crescent Shoaly, and maybe if you can find you an old Jackson Coosa, the original Coosa out there, that's a good option as well. But there's not just a plethora of what I call good quality creek and river fishing kayaks. This is going to be one of those, albeit a little bit different than the RVR or the Crescent Shoaly, but this is going to be a good multi-water boat because, again, very stable, very maneuverable. With that drop-down skeg, that also gives you the option to kind of change how that handles, so it's almost like having two different kayaks in one. The value, $1,250. It's kind of at the lower point of that high-end quality. And then what you get with the mounting options, the seat to me is worth it. That's where the value comes in. If you're fly fishing, you don't have a lot of stuff here to snag your line on. If you're just bass fishing like I like to do, you have plenty of room to store gear where you can access it on the water. You're not having to stuff stuff inside the hull and only access it when you're already beached up on there. If you're doing offshore fishing out there in the flats, you've got your mount in the back for that micro power pole. You're going to be able to tether that boat, stand up and fish. You can put the cooler on there and stand up on the cooler confidently and really have that ultimate vantage point of where you're fishing, where those fish are, especially when you're talking about, getting into that fall transition or even that spring spawn there. But anyways, guys, I love this kayak. Taking this out, it exceeded my expectations on the maneuverability and handling. I knew this was going to be stable. I definitely wasn't disappointed whatsoever on that. Where this fits into the kayak fishing market overall, it's going to be kind of hard to say. But if you want something a little bit more wide open for rivers and creeks, I think it's going to be great. And if you also want to do like smaller lakes, smaller bodies of water, I think it's going to be really good for that as well, in addition to your offshore angling. The RVR is phenomenal, and I think that's the best river and creek fishing kayak on the market personally. You got a little bit more clutter there if you want something a little bit more wide open, and then think about maybe taking a dog with you or even a small child. You can do that on here. I love wide open deck spaces. That's one of the reasons I like the Jackson U-Pick so much. But guys, I think this is going to be just another in a tremendous lineup coming up here in 2024. And in my opinion, Big Adventures, which is Native and Bonafide and a few other companies, are kind of doing the thing here lately. 2024, in my opinion, is going to be the big adventure year. Guys, this company is really doing things. They did it at ICAST with the Titan X. They've done it here recently with the PWR129 and the SKF117, in addition to the RVR119, the SS series with the 127 and the 107. They're really going to be giving Jackson and New Canoe and Old Town a really big run for the money. You do have the pedal drive option with Bonafide in the P127, but I feel like Bonafide really listens to the paddling anglers, which there's a lot of us out there. I enjoy having a paddle in my hands. I enjoy having a kayak that is going to cut through the water. And keep in mind, when you're looking at motorizing a kayak, that on the water paddling performance is crucial, because the resistance you have with paddling is the same resistance you're going to have with motorizing. How hard is that motor going to have to work to get you through or get you up to speed? Again, the more efficiently that moves in the water, the more efficiently that motor is going to carry you across there. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video I got here. Again, this kayak is something that a lot of people have been waiting on since ICAST. I'm happy to bring this to you. And guys, if this is on your short list of fishing kayaks to try out, I definitely urge you to do so. I was really surprised on this, and I'm definitely looking forward to what 2024 brings from Bonafide as well as some of these other companies. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support, and we'll see you on the next one.